You probably already had the thought that AI may take your job away. And in a lot of cases, that is true. But what is also true is that AI isn't solely here to rip opportunities away from you. Like any new technology, any new industry, any new capability, it opens up new opportunities as well. And how much of that opportunity you actually get, it boils down to how you position yourself. A few days ago, I was just scrolling through my phone, nothing major going on. And the first thing that pops up on my feed is that Illinois passed a new AI law. I make a mental note and I just keep scrolling. And then a few days later, California partners directly with Anthropic. I think, interesting. I keep scrolling. But in that same stretch, I come across articles that the federal government changed its rulebook twice. One on how it buys AI, and two on how it judges whether AI actually works. And not long after, I see another article about the White House rolling out some national AI initiative. That's what actually made me pay attention. So I grabbed my notebook, capture a few ideas, because things like that, articles like that showing up within a couple of days, I thought to myself, there's something going on here. Real quick, something about me since you probably don't know who I am. I spent the last 15 years of my career leading transformation initiatives inside global corporations, particularly two Fortune 10 companies. I built governance frameworks that portfolios worth hundreds of millions of dollars ran on. Now I'm applying that same discipline to navigating my next chapter, AI governance. Anyway, back to the headlines. I'll drop a link in the comments if you want to read them yourself. So I sat there, just kind of thinking, contemplating, and then I started to read through. And I realized they weren't really four different things. It was one main thing viewed from four different angles. And once I saw that, it started to connect for me. This is AI governance. The Illinois article was basically an accountability question. When things screw up, whose neck is on the line? The federal moves were primarily about trust. One was the government saying, we won't pay for AI unless it's earned our trust. And the second was about making sure that trust meant the same thing across the board. Now, the California and the White House headlines, that is capability. That's the government actually making sure that they're using AI officially instead of just paying lip service to it. So when I think about it, it boils down to three main things: accountability, trust, and capability. I get it. If you're building AI, you don't lose sleep over accountability, over trust, over capability. That's not your remit. But if you're the person like me who keeps a room full of leaders aligned, keep watching because this one is specifically for you. So, this whole thing reminds me of the story of the first car. In 1886, Carl Benz got his three wheeled contraption on the road for the first time. And it probably scared more horses than it impressed people. Think about it. It took 17 whole years before the first driver's license showed up. Traffic lights, another couple decades after that. Insurance, that came even later. So, almost two full decades of these things, cars just driving around, no license, no traffic lights, nobody telling anyone to slow down. Because back then, technology moved slow enough that people had time to catch their breath before they decided to build any rules at all. AI never got that runway. 2 years, maybe 3 years before people started noticing. And it's already sitting in the exact rooms the car ended up: boardrooms, hiring decisions, government offices. Except it only got there in a fraction of the time. And to be honest, cars may not be the best example. There's one that hits closer to home. Back in the 80s, cybersecurity was basically Tom in the basement. And it was Tom because he was better with computers than he was with people. And whenever Tom called in sick, good luck with your cybersecurity program. Now, fast forward to today, it's a whole industry. There's people at the C level whose entire job is security. And here's the thing, the industry didn't grow by hiring more Toms. It hired compliance people, policy people, the people who actually ran the trust building. So the job was never keeping the system secure. It was making sure that there was someone who could stand behind the security of the systems, someone who could put their name behind it. Here's the bottom line. This is what we keep coming back to. Building AI and what I call guiding AI are two very different jobs. And one of them is way behind right now. And you could argue that the same thing happened with cybersecurity. The field didn't explode just by hiring more Toms. It was the compliance folks, the people who actually built the trust layer, that made the whole thing work. And I think the same exact thing is about to happen with AI. But right now, almost every AI governance conversation is aimed at lawyers, at policy folks, at researchers. Nobody's really talking to the people who make things happen day to day. And if that is you, and the whole discourse around AI has made your seat feel a little wobbly, remember what I said at the start. It depends on how you look at it. Is it a threat or is it an opportunity? Well, here's the thing, you don't decide that by just thinking about it, you decide by what you do next. So let's make this practical. The next time you're in a meeting and AI comes up, ask a few questions. Who's really checking the output? Are we verifying it or are we just blindly trusting it? Who is responsible if the output is wrong? You may not get the answers to these questions right away. Asking the questions, however, starts to change how people see you. You automatically become the person they think to pull in when AI governance questions come up. So I keep coming back to Tom. And it wasn't because he did anything special. He wasn't out there being some kind of super genius. What people remember, however, is that the industry grew up around what he started. It wasn't just Tom keeping the system secure, it was everybody else who came after him, the people who actually built the trust layer around what Tom started. And I think AI governance is about to play out the exact same way. So, what is the moral of the story? The earlier you get in the room, the better your seat at the table. That's what I'm watching for, and that's what I'm building toward. I'll see you next time.